When I met Lucas, I was actually just kind of like waking up to like how bad my financial situation was. So I had about like 6 figures worth of bad debt. So I had about
credit card or consumer debt.
Both. So it was credit card, which was about almost like $100,000 worth of credit card debt. And then I had a car loan so at the time it was like I was leasing a Wrangler, and then I ended up buying it out as lease so that I could sell it, which ended up working out. But my credit was so bad, so I had like a 12% like loan on the car. Yeah, I had a bad like car loan. So I think right when I met Lucas, I think that I had like a negative $100,000 net worth.
And how old were you when you said you woke up to, oh man, this is a bad situation?
I was about 27.
27. So it's not like
you've made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy cow. Because I think a lot of people in that situation, they don't start, I'd be curious to know did you know a lot about finance? Like, did you grow up learning about finance? Did you know that it's bad to have $100,000 of credit card debt, or did you kind of have to learn that the hard way?
I had to learn it the hard way. I mean, so growing up, talking about money was like very taboo, like even within like my parents' relationship. So, there was no talking about money, but there was always stress about money. Because, I think looking back, I think that, because to be honest, and y'all know Marietta well, like I grew up thinking I was rich, and we were far from that. Like it was the opposite of that. The way that I learned about money growing up was completely opposite of how I steward my money now. So, to be honest, it was just, spend. That was like growing up. That's how it was in my household.
Yeah.
Like you spend as soon as you get it, because you never know, if you'll have a chance to spend again or have a chance to get this again. So it was very, like, our household was very consumer minded.
And so when you graduated and started your career, did you just carry that? Because I imagine you don't rack up $100,000 of credit card debt overnight. It takes a little bit of time probably to do that, yeah? And
with the interest rate, it balloons, as y'all know. So I didn't even know I had spent that. I don't even think I spent that much. It just, the interest, right, like balloons. But I guess after college, I started working at the company I'm working at now. And I lived at home for the first 4 years. So I felt like a little kid with a big girl job. So I was traveling for work, just having fun. I was making good money. And I was just not really that responsible. I will say, though, that my dad was like, make sure you contribute to a 401k. So I feel like that was my like saving grace with all of the mess I ended up in. But yeah, and looking back on it, again, living at home, I would have been maxing it out because I could have, but I just like did the match, which was still 6%. So yeah, by the time I woke up, it was because I think my minimum debt payments were getting like almost like just as big as my paychecks. So
Gracious.
I'm like, oh, we're getting to a point, and I had moved out at that point. So I finally grew up and I started like, paying bills and paying, my rent and stuff. And so, yeah, I was like, if these payments are larger than my check, like how am I
That's not going to be good.
Right.
But you are highlighting, I think so many people in society base it off of what the monthly payments are. And it seems so benign and harmless. It's like, oh, if it's just like your car loan that you mentioned. If I can just afford the monthly payments, it will be okay. What they don't tell you is this stuff starts stacking. And then before you know it, it consumes you and you never build. You're so fortunate that you figured this out while you were young enough. And now you're on the other side of it. I even saw in the notes, the day you got it close to your net worth went to zero, felt like a transition point for you. Can you describe that a little bit?
Yes. So, that day, it felt like freedom because like, even though I was at zero, it was like, okay, I don't owe anything crazy. I'm not, spiraling to, bankruptcy or anything. I'm finally getting to the point where, okay, I'm out of the negative and now I can really build.
And you don't plan on ever going back to that?
Never. Yeah. It feels amazing. I think again, growing up, like money was seen as to buy things. But like now I feel like money is to like buy freedom. And options.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. So I can never see myself going back to, being honestly like a prisoner, honestly.
I love that.
And doesn't it surprise you that, you look around to your peers, and it feels like in America, nobody like
Cares
feels
that
this
much.
pressure. And even though they're living, as your word, as prisoners to these debt overlords. I mean, and that's typically what happens.
I get in trouble. I mean, like once I was out of the matrix, I was trying to teach
Trying to tell everybody,
I was
right?
trying to tell
Yeah,
everybody.
it's hard because it feels like it's like, why does nobody get it?
Yeah. You've seen the light now. You've seen the other side.
And
Lucas, what about you? What was walk us through, okay, that was her, up until now. What was your up until now story?
Yeah, my experience with money was kind of the opposite. I have a hard time spending money, I would say.
That's weird. I don't know what that's like.
Where do you get that from?
I definitely get that from growing up. Like, I think there was some stress about money. Like, I didn't know, and like we didn't really talk about it much, but like I knew that there was some stress. And I grew up in a single parent household. My parents were both around, but like I knew that was a huge financial stress. My mom started working, at that point when it was
Because
the
your
four
mom
of
was
us.
a housewife.
Yeah, she didn't work when my parents were together, and then or part time, and then she started
She had
working.
to go back to work.
Yeah, she started her
Yeah.
career after 15 years
Wow.
of
With
taking
3
a break.
kids.
Yeah.
I always tell them, like, your mom is like a superwoman. I mean, like
Yeah.
to have done what she did.
Although, we didn't it wasn't explicitly talked about much, but you can kind of sense things. And so like, I just sort of picked up on, like buying things at garage sales and, not, I don't remember like sitting down at like dine-in restaurants, so if we would eat at McDonald's back when McDonald's was cheap.
Yeah. So like a very frugal household is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I
And
would
that-
say for sure.
And you've now carried that into adulthood, that now it's even hard for you to spend money now. Is that an accurate?
Yeah.
He's
Stay-
getting
yeah.
better, but yes.
Well, you're working on it, right?
Yes.
That's what you're working on.
It's a good
She's
balance.
chiseling away.
I already see the yin and yang of this
Yeah.
thing. I can see how you, and especially now that you understand the journey, but I do think y'all will be incredibly good for each other because I hope by the end of this, we'll be able to convince you that you're so far ahead of the curve. It's okay to make sure, yes, I want your future self to be very happy with the decisions you're making, but I want you to look back, that future self, or future version of yourself, looking back going, man, I crushed my 30s, my 40s, these kids, this family we're building. It's all worthwhile because right now I can tell you're carrying some weight just from you don't like to spend money.